This one.
This one.
Go live. It's
working. Jorb, something's happening.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You're live.
Hi, YouTube people. Let's try Facebook.
Let's try. Hello.
Oh, go live. It's working. Oh boy, we sound like idiots.
Always great when you start out a broadcast like that.
Let's see if it worked on Facebook. It worked on Facebook too. Oh my god. Hi. Hello, and welcome to the Velveteen Lounge.
Now, why are we frozen here?
I don't know. It's playing on there, so just... Okay, let's get this out of the way right now. If there are technical difficulties this evening, it's because we had to download a completely different program for going live. Hi, Laura. Good to see you.
Why's our quality on here like kind of junk?
I don't know.
Yeah, what can I tell you? Funny.
Hi, Eric. Good to see you. And Bill, good to see you too.
Looks like we're like slopped out at 480.
I don't know.
Wow. Is that the best this thing can do?
I don't know.
Well, we have like a new piece of software.
We'll have to deal with it later.
We have a new piece of software we're dealing with here.
Yes.
And it doesn't look as...
Hi, Andrew. And hi, Lisa.
Doesn't look as good as it used to. I can admit that.
And hello, Peter. Oh, thank you, Andrew. Okay, great. Yeah, good to see all of you. Yeah, so we... okay, it's frozen for us again, so I hope you can see it. It's not frozen
for you. Oh, wait, you're going to
Hi, Julie. Good to see you.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
There we go.
Okay, so... as you can see, we're learning this new software as we go.
We may have a fantastic delay.
But yes, Julie, Andrew, Lisa, Eric, Bill, Peter.
Everybody. Oh, it jumped in.
Hello, Laura.
Let it rip.
Okay, good.
Say. Hello. Hello. You know what? Hashtag achieve, I guess. I mean, something happened, didn't it? Well, it was a certain amount of panic about half an hour ago when it was like, you need to reset everything because promises made to you were lies.
Yes, Eric, it is the new software blues. We had to download a new app. We had to, the whole shebang.
Grab ice cream, lower forehead.
Hi, Kelly, and hi, Mom.
Seriously.
Good to see you both.
Boom.
Hello. Yeah, I won't bore you with the details.
No, they're boring. They're really boring. You don't need to know about configurations and RTMP and stream keys. We do. So we do that so you don't have to.
Hi, Dean.
Because that would be really, really dull.
Oh, yeah, he's saying, Dean is saying 480 max.
That's the most we're getting. We used to get like 720 or like 1080 or something.
We're supposed to get 1080.
Wow, this is...
You know what? Woo. It's just, we're going to have to
figure
go into the camera when this is done
and say...
Figure it out.
Hey, mofo, what's going on here? That's what we're going to say. But I won't use the term mofo.
I would go on my phone and try it, but I'm afraid I will just kill the whole broadcast. So
yeah, we're just going to have to live with 480.
We're going to have to live with 480 tonight.
So that's
that's just the way it
Normally we look sharper and clearer and all that kind of stuff. And guess what? We don't. So it's okay.
Oh,
it's okay.
Oh, thanks, Mom. Oh, yeah, Julie says I always wave back. Oh, I love that. Thank you.
Please. Oh, we appreciate that so much.
Yes. Yeah, growing pains for sure.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not watching pains. So we're doing our best. Doing our best just so that such things don't happen.
Hi, Ken.
Okay.
And I'm just going to get this out of the way, too. I think I'm sick. Because...
Well, clearly you need a little something.
About an hour before we went live, I'm like, my throat is starting
Scratchy
to really hurt.
Sniffly, and take a look at Ken's comment there.
Yeah. Exactly. So without further ado, I will have something for medicinal purposes.
And Eric, very much.
Hi, Abra.
Very much true, Eric. Matt, going live, you know?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Aw. Yeah, okay. So.
Anyway.
But we're here. We're here.
We did
it.
Let's just put it this way. Ever since last summer when we had big fun when this thing really started to conk out on us, it's just been one fun adventure after another with the software business and the hardware business. Software, like the hardware is still performing the way it's supposed to. We are live on both platforms simultaneously. I don't think we have the same delay we used to from one to the other.
Hi, Errol.
I'm not sure. It's hard to tell because YouTube was totally frozen for us for a second, and I think we are behind the times. But,
oh yeah, Errol says software updates seem to pop up at the most inopportune times. The worst was when we had the clams playing in our backyard, and I was getting ready to go live, and it shows that moment for a software update, and it was mandatory, and it was so slow.
Refused to bypass. Absolutely refused. And then the camera started to
Eric.
And then the camera started to overheat. And then so I put like a damp cloth on it, and then you were talking to the guys from the camera company, and they're like, "Don't ever put anything wet on there," and they were screaming.
Like the camera was overheating. What was I supposed to do?
I was about to throw a bucket of water on it, for Pete's sake, Well, that wasn't a bad idea.
Well, I can still talk because my throat is just deteriorating as we.
Clearly, you need some penicillin. What you mean the cocktail?
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Cocktail named penicillin.
We're gonna have to swab me after this.
We'll take care of such things.
Oh, hi, Dan. Yeah, Dan said we had fun anyway.
Well, we had fun.
I just remember we had our pool. We had our little pool, and I just remember getting into the pool because what the hell?
Yeah,
it was really fun.
Hex. That pool later migrated to the top of the deck, and that's where we were for that summer. And that summer was hot. So that was actually great, and the pool was just like bathwater a lot of days because it was just 90s. It was just heating
thank
up
you, Eric. Yeah,
we'd set up a little table beside it, and then set up a couple of drinkerinos and get in, and then it's just the only problem is a couple of drinks, and then I gotta get out and take care of business.
Oh, Peter says we should raise a glass to Jeff Beck.
Oh yeah, jeez, I just saw that.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh,
well, boom, immediately.
All right, well, let's make a drink.
Mr. Beck, Mr. Beck-Ola himself. Yeah, I guess he's of a certain generation, and he was definitely of a certain age, and he lived the rock and roll lifestyle. He did it. He did that through a number of groups, most of them named Jeff Beck Group, and well regarded as
I'm gonna get started
as a sort of a jazz and blues player, and occasional singer. He actually had sort of a top 40 hit in 1967, a song called "Hi Ho Silver Lining." Anybody remember that? Big deal.
Okay, so I am making something that I'm calling the Jennifer Hart.
Because this is, in fact, the Heart to Heart happy hour. What did your father call Heart to Heart?
He called it Heart to Dummy.
And you're saying to yourself, which one's a dummy? I'm thinking, you know which one's a dummy.
That's a good one. Mom, which one did he mean when he said dummy?
I think we know what he meant. To watch the show.
Yes, he called it Heart to Dummy.
I mean, the show itself, of course, is sort of a classic of the genre. Isn't it Aaron Spelling?
It is Aaron Spelling. And Leonard Goldberg.
All of the hallmarks of a Spelling show. It's just really insipid plots.
Oh, Yardbirds, Ken is saying.
Bingo.
Oh, the Vapor Rub. I know. I have a feeling I'm going to be sitting under the covers watching Heart to Heart all day tomorrow because, actually, I have a reading. It's just a Zoom reading, and I'm just audience, but I got to do that. Yeah. Anyway. Laura saying heat some water. Okay, great.
There's a penicillin formula right there.
Thank you. From your college voice teacher, perfect.
Hey,
yes.
Worth it to try.
Interchangeably, she says. Heart to dummy.
Oh, so in his case, it was dummy to dummy in that case.
Anyway.
Hilarious.
I used brandy because they consume a great deal of brandy on Heart to Heart.
Brandy is always considered fancy, isn't it? Now, within that period even, you could find whiskey that was as fancy as brandy, and certainly these days, you've got your choice as to which brown goods are actually quite nice.
I'm going to do 1/3 of an ounce Barrow's Intense Ginger, which will be good for my throat, actually.
It will be, as a matter of fact.
Okay. 1/3 of an ounce of that, and...
But Barrow's is intense, as the name implies.
1/3 of an ounce vanilla liqueur.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using Giffard, Vanille de Madagascar.
Big fun. That's actually very good stuff, as is the entire Giffard line. We do recommend their products.
3/4 of an ounce fresh lemon juice. Do I sound bad? I feel like I sound bad to me, but I don't know if I sound bad to everyone else.
You don't really sound bad from here. Okay. You're sounding like you. Absolutely.
And
if you're feeling a little scratchy, I got it.
3 dashes Fee Brothers Black Walnut Bitters.
And since I live here, I probably got it.
Well, he didn't get it the last 2 times I had COVID. So
well, if that's what you think you got.
I don't know. I have no idea what I've got.
You might just have a head cold. Who knows?
It's a triple-demic now. Who knows what I've got?
One or another or another. And another. For Pete's sake.
Anyway.
So anyway. You shake with ice.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we can go back.
I think we got it from now.
Shake with ice. Strain into a cocktail glass. Oh, thank you.
Right.
Oh, hi, Robert.
There you go. Oh, yeah, fresh ginger. You know, sometimes...
Can you scroll back up?
Absolutely.
I want to make sure we didn't miss anyone.
Yep, there we go. We got some bonjour from Berea, Ohio. There we go.
Oh, thank you, Laura. Yeah, I will definitely. Yes.
I'll take that. There we go. Fresh ginger is great if you make ginger tea. You
I
just
bought
gotta
fresh
sort of boil
ginger
it
today.
down and just let it steep and steep and steep, and then like you've taken it, it's just like burn. It's like that.
We actually
I love
have
that.
fresh ginger. Oh, hi, it's all Jan.
Hi, Jan.
Good to see you. Would you make a glass, please?
Very glad to.
Thank you.
Another great thing is that one of our local markets that has a lot of Caribbean foods has a ginger extract from Jamaica.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like really intense. It is really, you just
I'll
get
take
like
that glass back.
half an ounce in there. Shoot. Oh, as a matter of fact, why was I so quick to take it away?
Garnish with twist. Uh-oh.
Anyway, boss. Sorry about that.
Extra.
So, get the bonus sidecar.
We have Heart to Dummy on, too.
Yes, of course we do. Just playing right over there so that we can remain inspired the entire time.
Ooh, that's good.
Sounds like it's pretty good for
Do you
the
want
throat.
to...
Oh, hell. Ooh, that is good. It's all liquor. I'm realizing that
Jennifer Hart.
I forgot an important ingredient for what I need to do.
Okay.
Hard to
I know what he's getting.
Yeah.
I won't give it away, but... Hi, Gettysburg, ma'am. I'm wearing a pair of the earrings you sent me. Thank you. Yes, these beautiful earrings were made by Gettysburg, ma'am. So I hope she will drop the link to where you can get your own. Oh, I hate when I do that. Oh, yeah, Sorry, catching up. Sorry. Oh, Jen, not Han. Yeah, that happens. When I type my name wrong, it's usually Clelly. You get the E and an L juxtaposed. How's it going in there? How's it going in there? Oh, thank you, Gettysburg, ma'am. Yes, I love them. They seemed very appropriate for Heart to Heart, I thought. They make a statement. Anyway, since he seems to be having trouble finding what he's after, let's talk Heart to Heart. Who has a favorite Heart to Heart episode? We have it on, as you might have guessed. And they were just playing the one where he gives her an antique car for her birthday, and zany mayhem ensues. Yeah, I love them. I love these earrings so much. Clelly, mine is Error. Oh no, Errol. When Errol mistypes his name, it's Error. I can kind of see. It is an error. It isn't. I'm trying to look on the key. Yeah. Yep. You're one letter away from error, Errol. Oh, okay. It's all Jan says. I used to love Heart to Heart, but can't remember any episodes. Well, as my sister pointed out, Jennifer gets kidnapped in every episode. That's a slight exaggeration, but not too far off the mark. She gets kidnapped a lot. Freeway, when some bad guy breaks into their house, Freeway usually ends up in a cabinet or in a trunk or stashed some other place. They never take Freeway or do anything bad to Freeway. They just stick him in a cabinet. Oh. Think of Star Trek. Error. Yep, okay. All right, they're just talking over here on YouTube. Good. Oh, thank you, Andrew. Yes, Gettysburg Ma'am made these. Oh, Abra says I was too young to appreciate Heart to Heart. Yes, because same. I like when I watch it now. Oh, thank you, Robert. When I watch it now, I'm like, I love this show. Back then I was like, whatever. But yes, Freeway ends up in a cabinet. Jennifer gets kidnapped.
Yeah, you can always tell Freeway's in the cabinet because you hear this whining coming from there, and then you're just like, oh, they stashed the dog again, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
So
Max gets tied up quite a few times.
Yeah, they conk him on the head.
And not in a fun way. All right, now
for dead, and then like, what do you know? Then he's got to be like there saying, psst, yeah, thanks. They smacked me over the head.
Aw.
Okay. So.
Oh, their man Friday had to be a bad. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, you mean Max? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, funny. You know, Night Rider.
Night Rider. That's another good happy hour we should do in the future.
You know, when your car is being voiced by William Daniels, it's like you want to listen. You know?
Dean asked a very pertinent question. Was Heart to Heart a modern version of the Thin Man? That's what they had in mind. And I know this because I recently read a sleazy tell-all about, it was like about the two couples, Robert Wagner and Natalie Wood, and Stephanie Powers. I keep wanting to say Powell. It's Stephanie Powers and William Holden.
Stephanie Powers, William Powell. That's what's tripping you up there, perhaps.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I don't know where this guy got his information because it was so specific.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'll be like, well, on that day, Gettysburg Ma'am came over to YouTube too. You know, like on this particular day, William Holden woke up and, you know, and had breakfast in his Palm Springs home.
Like you know this?
Yeah.
Did he have the coddled eggs or the sheared eggs?
Hi, Julie, and hi, Mike.
Julie's got towels.
Oh, yay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bing.
Thank you.
That's big fun.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah, sleazy tell-all. But they talked about how when Robert Wagner's career was kind of considered washed up at that point, at the point where Heart to Heart came along. Mm-hmm. So, much like Mary Tyler Moore's career was considered washed up before the Mary Tyler Moore show came along.
Yeah, because she just spent
by the
6
industry,
years on it.
Not by the public, by the industry.
She just spent 6 years on a very popular TV series, did not have a series to follow it up, and then proceeded to do some things like the Broadway version of Breakfast at Tiffany's, which tanked. So I think there was a lot attached to that. But that's just typical of the industry to say like, oh, well, this failed because of the star. It's like, not because of the 4,000 other people involved in this thing? Yeah, well, there you go. Anyway, I need to make a thing.
You do.
I need to make a thing. And that would be, I decided to take a look in some of her classic books. I'm putting on my best, like, Robert Wagner patrician accent like he uses. He sounds kind of condescending in most scenes, doesn't he? And I found something called the Millionaire Cocktail. Millionaire involves 1.5 ounces of bourbon. It actually calls for Old Mr. Boston whiskey.
Which we don't
have. I don't have that. I'm not going to get it. So I am going to use the bourbon because that's exactly what I should use. Here we go.
I suppose you could always use rye, too, but...
Nah.
Nah.
Old Mr. Boston whiskey was, with any luck, a pretty decent aged whiskey and not like a blend.
I always feel like Mr. Boston booze was always on the bottom shelf in the store.
Some of it is like the liqueurs and things you will find there. So I need the curacao, please. 1/2 ounce of the curacao. In fact, since this is the Millionaire, let's use some really nice curacao. Let's use the morning. Technically a triple set.
Yes, we do need shows like Heart to Heart now. I agree.
Mister, we could use a show as dumb as Heart to Heart again.
Yes, she was in Breakfast at Tiffany's, the Broadway version.
Broadway show.
What did they call it? Was it called Breakfast at Tiffany's?
It was called Breakfast at Tiffany's, yeah.
Okay.
There is no, official
thank you, Andrew.
material for that. I think there's, like, what they call a Squawk Box recording that was released of what probably would have been essentially an audience recording.
I have seen Change of Habit, Mike. I think we have that on VHS.
VHS tape, yes, I think we do. Change of Habit, which is actually pretty good, as I recall.
On VHS,
I think this is like possibly, was that the last Elvis picture? Or one of the last And by that point, he was actually insisting that like the rolls not be quite so stupid, because that was not doing much for his career. What else do we need here? I need a quarter of a teaspoon. A quarter of a teaspoon? Or did I say quarter of an ounce?
You said quarter teaspoon.
That's an idiotic amount. I'm just going to kind of dash it in.
Hey, I just wrote down what you said.
You did indeed. Now, what have we put the grenadine?
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
I'm just going to hold on to this glass just in case.
Oh, that's wise.
That's gum syrup.
No, it isn't.
Wow, that fridge is loud. We have it, don't we?
We do.
You want me to go get it?
Do you know where it
Here,
is?
you stay. I was going to go check out here.
Yeah, take a look.
Okay.
Might have ended up there. Might just have ended up. Well, it also involves, and this was the super secret mystery ingredient, an egg white. Now, if you have any issues with raw eggs, then don't do this. Or you could always get like the pasteurized egg product. You can get the egg whites in a carton from the supermarket. Or you could coddle the egg, which is to say you put it into boiling water for, I don't know, a minute or two. I have to look it up. I've never actually coddled an egg. But the idea is to give it a sterilization. Does it work? I guess so. Check the other, wait till you come back and I'll check the other fridge.
Now I'm sticky from that fridge.
Yeah, right? I'm
sticky from that fridge. All right. Oh, okay. The Audrey Hepburn biography movie. Oh, okay. I haven't seen that. It's all Jan. She was always getting kidnapped, right? And then, like, oh, my mom says, still see a Christmas tree on the back. Yeah, well, yes, our ceramic one. We keep that up for all of January. We still have the big Christmas tree up, but it's been completely redecorated for January. The Elvis tree is still up, and then we have a pink tree up that's going to become the Valentine's Day tree. A Mork and Mindy happy hour. I love that idea.
Ah!
Hi, Michael. Good to see you.
I have to brush up on that show. Well, I can't find grenadine, but I guess what? I happen to have pomegranate juice, so I'm going to give myself what looks like.
But there's something I didn't reply to. I'm so sorry. There was some comment I meant to reply to, and...
Oh, it's in there somewhere. Anyway, I got all the parts together, I think. Do I? Yes. Shake with ice, stir into a cutter. Okay. This is the Millionaire. Why is it the Millionaire? I don't know.
Because they needed it.
I mean, basically, this is what it's, I think, what they call a New York cocktail or a New Yorker with those ingredients, plus the egg white. The egg white will make it frothy and fancy and blah, blah, blah.
Frothy and fancy.
And the blah, blah, blah. Don't forget the blah, blah.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I'll wait till you finish shaking.
Now, you want to shake the hell out of this because of the egg white. You don't have to shake this like a Raymond's Gin Fizz, which famously gets shaken for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. That's all for show.
Okay,
like 2 minutes is all you need. It gets really, really cold and you're done.
Oh, truly. Okay, I will send you some pictures.
Hello. Oh, yeah. Gonna enjoy that. Okay, that seems.
And we're getting a +1 for Mork and Mindy happy hour.
Hello.
Which means we're going to have to watch Mork and Mindy.
Oh, good God. That show was basically just an excuse for Robin Williams to do funny noises. And as I recall watching it at the age of, 10 or 12 or something, it was like, this is a great show. And you watch it now and you're like, what the hell was anybody thinking? I think his take on that was we were doing a lot of cocaine. Yeah. Straight from Robin Williams.
Yes, she does show off her shooting skills.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least one. There's one she did like archery.
And straight into a cocktail glass, which should give you like a nice foamy layer on top.
I remember what I was going to say about...
I do have a bonus bit.
Nanu. Exactly.
Oh, jeez.
And Shazbot.
Mark calling Orson.
See, Eric beat you to it.
Bang.
Jennifer, like, everyone was obsessed with Jennifer on the show. Like, often...
Careful. Give
like,
that a try.
Either she was being kidnapped by bad guys or... That's good. I think I've had that before, actually.
It's basically a whiskey sour with, like, the foamy head.
But yeah, she was... People are always like, you're so gorgeous, you're so gorgeous, so gorgeous. You should be a model. Have you thought of modeling? She often modeled Jennifer. Yeah. Which I know in the 80s, being a model was like... Oh my God, you saw Elvis at a luau on Christmas. What? I know you were in Hawaii, but congratulations, by the way, Julie.
Hello,
Congrats.
Yes.
Gettysburg Ma'am says that's her assessment too. I liked it as a kid. Now I watch it and I'm like, wowza.
You just say to yourself, what the hell were they thinking, you know? It's just one of those things.
A great many people were snorting a great deal of cocaine back then. Particularly in Hollywood.
I mean, and certainly certain shows at the time were notorious for that. Like the cast of SNL were like heavily, shall we say, altered at the point of doing shows, which gave everybody a lot of energy, and everyone was doing crazy stuff, and all this samurai business. So, dead giveaway. Hilarious. Just hilarious. I don't know what the hell's happening with this episode, but somebody's just going completely psychotic. So
I'm shocked.
I am shocked to find out that somebody is completely flipping out off meds on this show.
I found a good blog today that was talking about the house, the heart-to-heart house, which was called, I think, Amber Hills. So something Hills.
The actual exterior shooting location.
It was in Brentwood, California, and it had previously been owned by William Powell and June Allison.
Well, hello.
Not William, Dick Powell.
Dick Powell.
Dick Powell. William Powell was with Jean Harlow.
Correct.
Until she died.
Yes. Tragically young.
Rock-a-Hula Luau at the Royal Hawaiian hosted... Oh my God! Oh, Julie, that sounds like so much fun.
Stop that.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to actually get off of this menu here because it decided to flip out on us. There we go. Much better. I don't need that covering up my screen. So.
Dick Powell, June Allison.
Dick Powell.
Were married, owned the house. That was the heart-to-heart
They were
house.
married. Okay. So they
Yes.
lived there during that period of time. So. Oh,
sounds like a mashup between Heart-to-Heart and Starsky and Hutch.
Starsky and Hutch.
It's disappearing quickly.
Wasn't that also produced by Aaron Spelling, Starsky?
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so. So I remember we were watching some episodes and I was realizing it had that tone. And then you said, oh, wait a minute, it's an Aaron Spelling show.
Yeah.
Gotta check this sort of stuff out here. Didn't actually watch Starsky and Hutch at the time. There must have been something competing.
I mean, I think my parents did.
I knew plenty of friends who did because
Dick Powell, he produced Dick Powell Theater. I'm starting to see a connection for...
There's a thing going on here.
Yes, okay. He produced a lot. This is why
there's
This is why he had a mansion in Bel Air.
Yeah.
He produced a lot of things.
Robin's Hoods. Soap dish.
You know, it's so funny when I think back on my life now.
Dark Mansions. T.J. Hooker.
I think instead of going to acting school, I should have gone to producer school.
Yeah, think about it.
Because
Charlie's, Vegas, BAD Cats.
Starsky and Hutch.
Family.
There we
Starsky
go.
and Hutch.
You know what? I'm just going to leave Aaron Spelling's IMDb profile up.
Just for giggles.
Because I'm sure we'll want to go back to it.
We will have a need to reference his whole resume again.
Oh, I was obsessed with Happy Days too. Gettysburg, ma'am. Night, Robert.
Night. Good to see you, sir.
Wow.
Fantastic.
I would go to the Rock-a-Hula Luau if I was a boy.
I'd check it out. No, that sounds really cool.
You know, if you drank too much, if you had a dream of Starsky and Hutch starting at Cop Rock.
We saw the episode of Starsky and Hutch where they went to Jamaica or Haiti or something.
No, it was Jamaica.
Was it Jamaica?
It was Jamaica.
And like they get involved with like the bad juju and like the big, big mofo mojo guy there, like put him under a spell. It was just ridiculous. But more ridiculous was them putting on like some tanning makeup and like singing with this other guy as a calypso band. And you're like, okay, you can't do that on stage anymore. And you shouldn't do that on TV anymore.
You shouldn't do that. Just don't do that.
Don't do that. But Happy Days, no, that was the thing. Now, of course, that show starts out. It was a mid-season replacement, and apparently mid its first season, another show comes up, And that show was Good Times. And so it was, I think it was in a competing slot. So suddenly there was like, splitting the audience kind of thing. And you also had like, this young guy on this show with this whole trademark shtick. So this is the point where Happy Days starts to punch up their own character, Fonzie. And that's where he starts to wear like the trademark leather jacket, etc. And frankly, it becomes a little more shticky itself.
Oh, yeah. Cowboy shows in the 70s. Our TV dies, and years later, when we get a new one, it's all detective cop shows. Yeah.
What happened? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and
there was a real period for like spy shows too.
Well, not dissimilar to the 50s, where you have all these westerns, and like that phase comes and goes, and then you have something called Peter Gunn, which launches 1,000 private dick shows, and then after Peter Gunn goes on the wane, like in 77 Sunset Strip and all that, then what do you get? Well, then suddenly you got the spy shows and the spy parody shows. Pretty much, yeah. I think
my gosh.
Bond really launches that concept, but then you've got Man from U.N.C.L.E. And when that catches fire, these guys are like rock stars. And it was just,
Michael Jackson was sick on Christmas, so we got an extra Elvis. Lucy was in heaven. Aww.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Oh, I love Good Times.
Mm-hmm.
Sanford and Son, I'm like, yeah, I kind of feel like it's kind of the same joke over and over again, but I love Good Times.
But it's a good joke, So
yeah, Aaron Spelling was a busy guy.
You look at his lineup, and it just goes on, and some of them are not like your top 10 shows. He produced a lot of stuff, but many of them
Remington Steele,
really, really huge.
Yeah, Remington Steele. We'll have to do that one too.
That's again with like your Private Eye kind of shows.
I do think Red Fox is really funny though.
Yeah,
I remember at Paley Center, aka Museum of Television and Radio, watching some old Red Fox routines on Hollywood Palace, and he was really funny. Like he was funnier than they wrote for him in Sanford and Son, I think.
Yeah. But
that's what I'm
Fred Sanford, Sanford and Son had its particular formula and had to follow it.
Happy Days was Gary Marshall.
Yes.
Another prolific producer in the era.
Who had his own trademarks.
Yes.
His own trademarks included...
Oh, Chico and the Man, yes.
Chico and the Man. His trademarks, of course, included the first season of all of his shows was actually shot one camera, and then they moved to like the 3-camera setup with an audience. So you see that with all of them. Happy Days first season, it's like it's actually just shot as movie style. The Odd Couple first season is shot that way, and then moves on to like the 3 cameras and live audience, which he seemed to like. But like all of his shows, started out that way. Laverne and Shirley, same thing. So.
All right, I'm sick. I'm gonna have another one.
I'm sick. I need another drink.
I need a flute.
I need more cold medicine.
I need something else. Oh, Eric says you should never say 77th Sunset Strip to me. Because now I got kooky, lend me your comb stuck in my head. Thank you.
Pingenheimer.
All right. Well, we're keeping it fancy, but not as fancy as Jonathan and Jennifer because they would have had champagne. We have, I have champagne tastes on a Prosecco budget.
So therefore we have Prosecco.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait, I got to catch up. Oh yeah, Freddie Prinze. I know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and Laverne and Shirley. And actually... Mork and Mindy was a Happy Days spinoff.
Yes. Yeah, there was several spins that came off of that.
Joni loves Chachi.
You had to mention it, didn't you? But here we are talking about it.
You were quoting the Dead Milkman song earlier.
Yes, I was indeed.
Swordfish.
Oh, well, you can hear that for yourself and have a lot of fun with that. Too true. Dallas, Knots Landing, Dynasty.
Oh, yeah. I loved Dallas back in the day.
I used to watch Dallas.
And Knots Landing. And Dynasty.
Yeah, I don't think we watched any of those others. I think my sister might have watched Dynasty.
I've seen some Falcon Crest, but it must have been on at a weird time for me because I loved Dynasty. I was just thinking of Dynasty the other day because I saw a reference to Emma Samms. Oh, hi, Ellen. Good to see you.
Hello.
Aw.
Yes. Thank you so much for hopping in.
Yes.
Now, what's Julian's favorite?
The Colbys. Oh,
Laverne
and Shirley.
There we go. Yeah.
We have a Laverne and Shirley ornament for our tree that plays the theme song.
a pretty good chunk of
You
it,
should
too.
get it for her if she doesn't have
Just
it.
saying.
Yeah.
Hint. Yep. Worth going.
All right. Oh my God. Raise your ripple to Fred Sanford. Hi, Elizabeth. Good to see you.
One would
Hey.
love to, but of course, Ripple is off the market. Ow! What are you going to do? You're going to have to find a different bum wine. I believe you can still get T-Bird. Well, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in a long time. You can absolutely, of course, get MD.
Oh, yeah,
because
Vegas.
Mad Dog is available anywhere in 15 shocking colors that you
Vegas
don't
with Dan
want
Tana.
to try.
Ken says, just watched an episode of Heart to Heart where the house is burglarized and burglar smashes a china plate over Jonathan's head. Better than the Stooges.
You know, they do this kind of stuff
They
on
do.
TV as if you wouldn't just end up in the hospital with lacerations. Because he just, like, wakes up later and is just like, oh, wow, he must have hit me with that
Hi,
china plate.
John. Good to
And he's
see you.
walking around as if, you know? Jeez.
Hello. Hardy Boys and who was
I
that?
think so.
All right, we gotta look it
Now
up.
I gotta go take
All right.
a look with the Hardy Boys.
Oh, Gettysburg Ma'am, I love those shows, and my friend Donna is also very into Match Game.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Well, and those are funny. You can find those on, like, Game Show Network. And what was the other one? The other one network that was showing that. Oh, it's totally escaping me. It's like 4 letters, too.
Buzzer.
Buzzer. Yes, I think it's
Yeah,
B-U-Z,
okay.
or is it B-U-Z-Z or something like that anyway.
Right, I gotta.
But they're fun. Old
gotta
episodes
go
of
to Hardy
Password are a lot
Boys.
of fun. Hardy Boys.
No, not
Nope,
that. Here we
not
go.
something completely new. Here we go.
All right.
And there's a crossover with Nancy Drew. We just, in fact, saw
That was Glenn A. Larson.
Glenn Larson. Oh, yeah. Who is
Also was
well
known
known
for
for?
Knight Rider, The Fall Guy, Magnum P.I., Battlestar Galactica, and Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Oh, yeah.
I should have been a producer.
Seriously. Like, Mr. Calling, give me a
Should've
nice
been
to get that
producer.
cold.
Anyway,
Do that. So, anyway,
for my next drink,
my next hat trick.
I will be making something called Bubble Bath for 2.
Are you making 2 of them?
Oh, yeah. You know what? If you want me to make 2, you got to get me
I'll
another
get you a
flute.
flute.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. Smart guy. Got the flute.
Smart boy got the flutes out.
Smart boy.
Oh, Riptide. Oh my God, so many good shows. Too bad Jonathan didn't follow up with a woo. Yuck, yuck.
Woob.
Oh,
woob,
Spencer
woob.
for Hire.
Yeah, Spencer for Hire is why people misspell my surname all the time.
Oh, Mannix, yes.
The fact is that
Yes.
Spencer with a second S is much less common than with the C.
Santana,
And people
oh my
are
God.
always doing that. And all I can do is actually blame Robert Urich. There we go. But of course, people would always be coming up to me and going, Spencer!
Wilma Jury, Aaron Gray, and Buck Rogers. Oh.
Spencer!
Okay.
And of course, that was because of Hawk. And like, I had no idea. I didn't used to watch the show. But there was Avery Brooks being like totally cool role.
I need a, is this a 1 ounce? I need a 1 ounce measure.
I'll get you one up.
So, Bubble Bath for 2
Moment, please.
is a variation on the Jennifer Hart,
Mhm.
but with bubbles added.
With bubbles.
Ideally, you would do champagne, but as I previously mentioned, champagne taste, Prosecco budget.
I can note that we have in our time
Oh,
sampled some really expensive actual champagne. I think we were at a one place where the bottle was like $250, and they give us like this shot cup of it. We try it. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, tastes like the Prosecco. So like I can actually live on the Prosecco budget just fine. This is actually something that you should have with regularity. It's not like this
okay,
should,
hold on.
It's not like every day is a Veuve day.
I gotta break in.
Yeah, please.
Errol saying, Lisa and I watched a lot of Match Game recently. I never get tired of Match Game.
Oh, that's hilarious.
right.
Match Game with Jane Rayburn. Yes. Oh, geez.
Which I remember reading about Gene Rayburn, that he lived in Cape Cod. What are you doing?
Get rid of the cube.
Oh, okay.
That was just there to
Yes. Okay.
just there chill out.
Gene Rayburn lived in Cape Cod, so he would fly to LA like every 2 weeks, and then they would just shoot a
Bunch
ton
of episodes.
episodes.
to back.
And then he'd fly back to Cape Cod, and then fly back 2 weeks later, shoot a bunch of episodes.
And you can see it if you see the episodes like in series, like if you're watching them on one of these networks, you can see 4 or 5 in a row, and you can see where they change like outfits, but They're just moving on to the next one with the next cast of
And if you were
characters.
wondering, was that water in their glasses?
No, it was not.
That was just vodka.
That was vodka or gin. Take a pick. You know,
A bit more thirst and hell than Jennifer Hart, if you ask me.
yes, well, we're trying our best over there, after all. Jennifer,
Okay, so bubble bath for 2. Okay, I got it. Okay, so we're going to do a 1/2 ounce of
Vanille de Madagascar.
Yes. It's a variation on same drink. But they drink a lot of champagne on that show, too. I love that they drink a lot of champagne, period. Or just and they drink, a lot of wine. In fact,
yes.
Jonathan, one of his holdings was a vineyard.
As a matter of fact. We saw that episode where you had, the managers of the vineyard who were actually realizing that the bottles used at the Hart Winery there were the same as this very expensive brand. So what were they doing? They were actually relabeling as the expensive brand to commit fraud. Yeah, but that got discovered.
1/4 ounce.
And of course, they had to shoot somebody.
Lemon juice.
You notice on Heart to Heart, somebody always gets shot really pointlessly. We got to get this guy out of the way, or we're going to impersonate this guy. So they shoot a guy. I'm like, you have a dead body on your hands. What the hell are you going to do with that?
That one needs more.
Leave it sitting there, and people do, and it's just dumb.
Oh, and we were watching the one the other day where Ava Gabor was playing Jennifer's aunt, who was marrying the cult leader, but he got killed at their wedding.
Yes. He got killed very quickly with poison in the cake.
Thank you.
And of course, she feeds him a slice of cake, and he's dead. Oh, well.
3 dashes of the black walnut bitters.
Was he actually okay to eat that cake anyway, since he was professed vegetarian? That's the thing. I think there's got to be egg whites in there somewhere.
He wasn't vegan, so I assumed the cake was all right.
This is true.
I need the bubbles.
Oh, yes. We got to do that. Oh, we want Tom Selleck to appear on Blue Bloods. Tight white bell bottoms and an open shirt. Oh, man. I want him to appear on there in an Aloha, flying in a helicopter. That's what we want to see. If you go to, again, we've mentioned this on the show before, if you go to the fine Cheeky Joint in D.C., Archipelago, they've got the Magnum room. It's just like a little closet.
Well, it's not a room. It's a shrine. They have a Magnum PI
shrine to Magnum. It's really cool. You have to ask them at the bar.
Yeah, they keep it locked up. You have to ask to see the Magnum PI shrine. But it's worth it.
They've got a little 45 of the thing, and they've got
don't
they have the Magnum doll and everything? Yeah, it's pretty fun.
They have all the stuff. Oh, Charles Nelson Riley. Or as the band was called, Charles Manson Riley.
Bang. There we go.
We saw Brett Summers before she died. She did a cabaret show in New York City, and we went.
She was absolutely hilarious and fantastically entertaining.
I think we were the only people in the audience she didn't know. And then, of course, me being me, I insisted that we stay after and stalk her. Talk to her. And of course, we had to get her autograph, which we still have. So. Yes. She was lovely. She was so sweet to us. Mm-hmm. I think she was just so happy that someone came to see her show that she didn't know.
And prosit. So this is
Bubble Bath for two.
I like it.
Oh.
However, I want an ice cube.
Gettysburg Man says, why not do a happy hour dedicated to 80s infomercials?
Oh.
Our friend Mike, who I don't know if he's still here, but he was here earlier, made a DVD for us a long time ago that was all 70s and 80s commercials.
It was 80s commercials taken
Floby
off of his collection of VHS tapes from the era. So this is stuff probably between about 1982 and 89. And this is all from New York television. So this was a hell of a lot of commercials for Broadway shows and for local chains. And this is, I think it's 101 commercials. It's astonishing to watch this. And some of these are just hilarious. The local ones are the best because it's two dorks from Long Island talking about furniture. What's this? What's this? And the acting is just...
You do crazy Eddie. Good night, Julie.
Bottom
Good
of the
to
barrel.
see you.
He definitely had 2 or 3 Eddies in there with... now I'm completely forgetting the spokesperson for Eddie.
Crazy Eddie.
No, Eddie Antar. Of course, was a criminal. But,
right. No, I know he didn't. He
ended up fleeing the country.
The guy in the commercial was not Crazy Eddie.
Yeah, he was a DJ. If I recall properly.
Gettysburg Man just said the magic words. Or Richard Simmons workout bits. I was on the Richard Simmons show.
Or slightly sexual.
I was on the Richard Simmons show.
Yeah. Yeah, these
more than one episode. And actually the episode I was on, apparently, I did not see this, but apparently it was featured on the Oscars. And they did like a sort of composite, I forgot the word, of the year. Like a video composite of the year. Retrospective of the year.
There we go.
That year. And apparently our workout video was on there. It was okay, so
you made the
story. I'm not gonna name any names because she might not own it now, but a friend of mine got us on the show. And I don't think it was hard. I think you just kind of said, I'd like to come on your show. And he was like, great, come on.
Yeah, sure. Come on in and work out.
So I remember I was wearing this red leotard, just doing my thing. And I was wearing a necklace that the catch fell down. So, afterward, when we're like, oh, so nice to see you, Mr. Simmons. So good to meet you. He, grabbed my necklace and fixed it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh God, he was really nice. He's still alive, but yeah, he was lovely. He was lovely.
And there's also a vote for Joanne Worley.
Joanne Worley.
She's hilarious. She's still around. There's a whole crowd in, I think, San Francisco that likes to actually hang out with Joanne. And if you can probably see this up on the YouTubes by now. There is a laugh-in blooper reel that is extremely blue.
Hi, Kalaka boy.
And they've got Joanne Worley doing, I think she's sort of lip syncing to this piece, which is just filthy. You really need to see this. It's bloody hilarious. But the whole thing is just great. And I remember I have that on a beta tape. I have nothing to play it on.
I've never seen Millennium. Okay, yeah. I'll have to go look for it to see Charles Nelson Riley.
Yep.
Laura says I lost 36 pounds thanks to Richard Smith. Oh my God, I remember Kathy Smith and Denise Austin.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was. He was really. He himself was a large guy when he was young.
Okay,
Peter's just determined to take it off, and he just went in and
Peter's
did it.
saying, I remember the commercials for Little Shop of Horrors, the Broadway musical. Isn't that the one where the kid? Because I know that's on there. Isn't that the one where the kids yeah, I thought it was good, and I've seen a lot of shows or something.
Yes. Got this total New York City kid who's just I've been seeing Broadway since I was 6, blah, blah, blah.
I thought it was good, and I've seen a lot of shows.
And this is coming from somebody who's seen a lot of these things. Yeah, there's 3 or 4 for shows. I think he also had the Mr. Midwin Drood, you, the audience, decide.
Oh
it's it was a pretty schlock commercial.
Are we talking about Lidsville now?
There we go. Speaking of Charles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else is on there that really stands out. Well, you love Aldi.
Oh, okay.
This is
that was such a local commercial.
Local appliance chain to beat all local appliance chains. And you get the guy who owns the place who's there talking like this. Well, what you can do.
I love
it. You can buy. And 10% for military discount. It was just, amazing.
I forget what their discount was, but he's like, and a 10% discount for cash.
For cash. Yes. We will give you,
Yeah, but it was so New York. It's why 10% discount for cash.
We always have the lowest prices. Why do they're shopping for them? Come to Aldi, and which is very much like PC Richard.
Kalaka Boy says, I recall buying Richard Simmons' Deal-A-Meal program. I remember that. I never did it, but I remember that. Oh my God!
Swen to the Oldies.
Don't we have a record? We have a Richard Simmons record.
I believe we have, because he had one that sold a lot of copies.
Yeah.
And I believe we do have that one. It's called Reach. I can't remember what that was. We actually have a collection of exercise records just because they kept turning up. Interesting how they turn up in the thrifts right next to the religious records, It's like, what did you lose your will to exercise or on the same time that you stopped believing in Jesus or something? It's weird. But there were just weirdo things, including Believer Size. And then there was Believer Size 2. There is jazzercise. There was one that was like country, basically, I guess, line dancing exercise. And what else do we have?
And we have Bonnie Prudden.
Yeah, we've got a couple of Bonnie Prudden. She was like a big one in the 50s. And I think my mother had a Bonnie Prudden book.
And there was another one too. Oh God, I can't remember her name.
I think she was on TV, Bonnie Prudden. Yeah.
I can't remember her name. Dorothy someone?
Yeah, oh geez, yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Dorothy.
I can see the cover. And it's got her in like 10 poses on the front of this thing, and it's Epic Records.
All right, Eric, I love X-Files, so I'm sure I will love Millennium too.
Yeah. X-Files.
Hi, Amy. Good to see you.
Here's a little Prosecco too.
And hi, Tom. Good to see you too. Mm-hmm. Yay.
Hello.
No, we're not going to be at Inukele this year.
Yeah.
We have to get our film color graded. So,
that's what's getting in the way. I'm afraid to say, but we did it 1 year ago.
Jack LaLanne, yes.
We had a fun time and it was good stuff. Jack LaLanne, and who am I thinking of? I think Jack LaLanne is appearing on the Morning Drive show.
Yeah, you said.
WFMU on Fridays. I think he drops in like about 10 minutes worth of Jack LaLanne.
Oh, we have a record by her.
Yes,
Joni Greggins.
Yes.
We have a Joni Greggins record too.
We do, in fact.
I decided at one point to start collecting workout records.
Just because they kept turning up.
And they were
for a dollar.
They were all the covers were mesmerizing. So
they're a lot of fun. They're really a lot of fun to watch these things. It's kind of like next to the cruise ship records, which are fun too. But
no.
we have one that's a yoga record with Richard Hittleman, I think is the guy. It's two records.
You used that for Dr. Benstein. Oh, Tom, I'm sad we won't be there too.
Oh, yeah,
but have fun.
Yeah, have a great time.
You'll have a great time.
You will.
It'll be amazing. Yeah.
I mean, look, they're right there. That whole complex is just, Atlanta Conference Center. It's like everything is there.
Did Jennifer Hart
all there in walking distance. It's not that far to grab like an Uber and hit great places like the Vortex, which is on my hat somewhere.
There's a few.
There are a couple.
There are a few locations.
There are a couple.
Vortex,
a couple of vortices, as a matter of fact.
Laura's saying
it's a burger joint.
Didn't Jennifer Hart land a plane in one episode?
Oh.
I haven't seen that one, but now I have to go look.
Yeah, you have to check it out
tomorrow when I'm laid up with whatever croup
thing is kicking around, eh? Oh, I think somebody's kidnapping Jennifer.
Oh, yeah. I'm shocked. Jennifer's getting kidnapped.
She's getting kidnapped, yes. Yeah, here's she all tied up.
This is hilarious.
I think it's somebody who's a little obsessed with Jennifer.
Oh. Eric, I will... This is an easy answer for me, but I just wanted to read Errol's comment. We have a Halloween dress-up at work. Wanted to dress up as Richard Simmons, but was afraid HR would take exception. The dolphin shorts.
Yeah. That's a lot of skin exposure.
It really is.
And around that time of year, you might be lucky enough to have really favorable weather, or it might be cold. So,
Mike Levy from Late Night Amazing Discoveries. Oh, okay.
Really, did he? Oh, funny.
Eric is saying, what would your favorite unusual record that you have would be? For me, that's an easy Camp Roosevelt, which we've played on this show.
Speaking of exercise, that was a fat camp in the Catskills. I'm just going to say it like it is, because that's what it was.
Yep.
We sent the kids for. And of course, the counselors at this camp had a great idea. Hey, let's make a record and have the kids sing. It's like, it's not a music camp. It's not a performing arts camp. These kids are here for one purpose, and they probably don't have any singing talent, do they? No, as a matter of fact, they don't.
Nope.
Not a one.
Don't.
Not a one in the lot. It is astonishing to listen to this thing. Well, we've talked about Camp Roosevelt before. And we also have a record made about 10 years later from a different fat camp in the Catskills, which actually is astonishingly similar. So it's hilarious. And I forget the name of that one. But we looked them up. Yeah, Roosevelt was like in... Monticello.
Yeah.
Monticello was really just right up 17 for us. Very easy. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, it's just...
it's
such a palate cleanser. Camp Roosevelt.
My favorite unusual record, what have I got? I was playing something recently that was say it, please.
Gettysburg Ma'am says, MTV did 2 documentaries called Fat Camp at Camp Pocono Trails.
Oh, hilarious.
All right, I got to look for that now, too.
Well, the Poconos are not particularly far for us either. That's got to be about, like, an hour and change. But
no, the Poconos are like a half hour for us.
Less even. Yeah, it's not far off. It's not very far off for us at all to hit Pennsylvania, so there we go. I'm thinking about unusual records. I was listening to a lot of stuff last summer that was in the RCA 4-channel system, and there was one that was actually recorded at Queens College, and it was like a lot of really weird sound effects. And actually, it was a great presentation of 4-channel. Like a lot of things I've been listening to, I'm like, yeah, that's not that impressive, but this was really cool. And I'd have to go scare that up if you're interested. I'll drop that in a personal to you. What else do we have that is like the unusual? Like
we have somebody
really kind of strange.
Well, Eric's saying my parents had this record called Pass in Review.
Oh yeah,
which was Paul knows it.
Yeah, London Phase 4, because they did that whole series of those starting around like 61 or so. Phase 4 referred to like the phases of stereophonic records, some of which were very gimmicky. And they just decided London is the US version of English Decca, which used to be related to US Decca, but they split off. So,
oh my God, that you know this.
I know this. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. UK
okay.
Decca actually had a very particular like recording protocol for stereophonic, which was very broad. It was a big multi-microphone technique and etc. And they were recording through like a huge mixing console, a 4-track tape, blah blah blah. And they decided to make these a bunch of spectaculars. They're pressed on better vinyl. They come in like really nice, like they have like poly-lined inner sleeves. They have very thick covers, all gatefolds. They're really pretty cool. They sound fabulous, absolutely fabulous. So yeah, Pass in Review was like it's like designed like a whole parade kind of thing. That was a big spectacular, and I'm trying to think. There was something like 25 or 30 records in that series that were actually the really, really great sounding records. So,
one of my other favorite weird records, I almost put it back here, is Hear How to Plan the Perfect Dinner Party.
Oh, yeah.
With Gaynor and Dorothy Maddox.
Gaynor and Dorothy. Mm-hmm.
And I guess he was a nationally syndicated columnist, but they're just on there talking about planning a dinner party. And they have these sort of Jonathan and Jennifer Hart patrician accents talking, and they're kind of like busting each other on the record a little bit.
Yeah.
And
it's really funny to listen
and then
to.
the back of it, since I finally looked at it one day, has like all these Polynesian recipes.
Yep. Yeah, here's how to plan your perfect luau.
Oh, Dan says, I think you are a producer. Yeah, I am now. I'm not getting Aaron's spelling cash, but
not at this point in time, but
someday soon.
For Pete's sake, you're a producer. For real, for serious.
That's right. Pictures of Matchstick Men. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Big hit in the 1990s for Camper Van Beethoven,
yes.
as I recall. Yeah, which has like they do that guitar line on a violin, which is pretty cool. So.
Gettysburg Ma'am says, I still want to schedule an Eat Pennsylvania happy hour with you. Yes, I would love that.
We could check that out.
Let's do it.
We should do a breakfast. We can have scrapple. Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Hilarious.
I would love that so much.
In terms of local food products, of course, there is what in New Jersey goes by various names, but we simply know it as Taylor.
That's New Jersey.
Taylor ham. Yes, I'm saying. I'm not talking about breakfast meats, but yeah, Taylor ham is like is actually the first like formed pork product. Predates Spam by about 80 years, I think. Matter of fact, depending on where you are in New Jersey, it is either called Taylor or pork roll.
Yep.
Hilarious that there are different names within the state. It's not the biggest state.
Don't you have another heart-to-heart drink to make?
I do, in fact, but I'm not quite done with this. So we'll continue with. I'm still thinking about all those commercials and, like, you know.
Oh God, they're roller skating now.
Oh jeez. Oh. Smacking into the kid. Bang.
Uh-oh.
Tumble.
They tumbled and dropped their ice cream cones.
Oh,
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, but they have their protective pads on.
Of course, they're Jonathan and Jennifer Hart, so they could just go buy new ice cream cones, whatever.
Oh, they actually just bought a cream.
All right, we're getting some votes for Camper Van Beethoven.
There you go.
Oh, Gettysburg Man was like, what is the common convenience store up your way? We are, we're far enough north to have Cumberland Farms.
Yeah, we don't have the Wawa or the Sheetz.
No.
We have Cumberland, and
we first encountered Sheetz when we're driving west. We usually see that in Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah.
Although it might be in Scranton too.
You see it just south of Scranton. You see a Sheets, as I recall properly. We are far too east to, of course, see the well-named Come and Go, which is what you'll find in Illinois.
Yeah, in Indiana.
In Indiana, it's hilarious. It's actually well done. I mean, they have everything you're looking for in a convenience store and gas. But literally, KUM and apostrophe go. And you're like, you didn't run this past a bunch of 13-year-old boys
7-Elevens.
At the time, did you?
We have the occasional 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
When I lived in California, 7-Eleven was on every corner.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have here?
Rarely we will actually find a Circle
K. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
You will see one of those in Hanover, New
well,
Hampshire.
which is not near here.
Not near here. And I'm trying to think if we get any closer than that. Although you see strange things. There's actually Sinclair gasoline in New York State. I think you got to go to Westchester to find it. But I passed one once. I'm like, Sinclair? What?
Yeah, we definitely have Cumberland Farms. Eric's near a Come and Go.
Oh, here we go.
It used to be Go-Go's. Oh, okay.
Go-Go's. Go-Go's or Go-Go's? Go-Go's. Like the group? I'm just thinking. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to go for some more bubbles because I'm still conversing. And I feel like more bubbles.
You don't want to have your other drink while you're conversing?
No. I was thinking about the votes that we're getting for camper van. And I remember distinctly, I was during the 1980s.
Oh, Errol, we all laughed when we first saw it.
Oh, yeah.
We were driving across country and we're like, Come and Go. Oh, Stop and Go became Red Apple. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Come and Go is literally KUM and apostrophe go. And you just look at that and you say, you didn't vet that before you did it, and now it's all over your signs and it's imprinted in plastic, and you'll never get rid of it.
I always say this: if you're choosing a company name, run it by a group of 12-year-old boys.
Yes.
And if they start like
snickering uncontrollably, then think about why that is.
Choose a different name.
What else? Oh, yeah, Stewart's too.
Oh, yeah, Stewart's is a big one here.
A big local thing.
Yep.
Well, actually has a whole brand of soda, and they apparently have excellent coffee, et cetera, et cetera. And I think we have some, what am I thinking of? What's the Canadian chain that does coffee and donuts?
Tim Hortons.
Hortons. I think we have a couple of Hortons kicking around.
Not real near here.
Okay, so we don't. But I'm thinking.
Yeah, but, well, I was going to say we have Dunkin', but that's not a convenience store.
No, it's just donuts.
It's a donut and coffee
It's donuts everywhere. And of course, we remember when Dunkin' decided to open up a chain in Los Angeles, and everybody lost their poop. They went nuts for like 24 hours.
Do you remember that?
And you're thinking to yourself, it's donuts, guys.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah.
So hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
But yeah, I remember that because I remember seeing like lines, like people were in 6-hour lines to go to Dunkin' Donuts.
To get a Dunkin'. Okay, yeah, fine.
Donuts.
I will say, in defense, excellent coffee, and I will swear by their Boston cream. That's a really great donut. True.
Gettysburg Man, yes. I'm 100% available for this. Oh, Quick
Get in touch.
Oh, you know what we have? We have Quick Check. Do you have Quick Check?
Quick Check. Oh, yeah.
Quick Check is a big one here.
Yeah, that's a gas station convenience, and they do really good coffee, a lot of good flavors. And what looks like some pretty good sandwiches for what you're talking. A lot of these
gas station sandwich.
A lot of our local places that have a little deli, you're like, it's a little sketchy, but this actually looks clean. So I got to say, that's important. You're on the road, you want to grab like a bite. What are you going to have? It used to be you'd go to a Howard Johnson and you'd have the clam roll. Today, you probably have to find a Subway just to find something that's like of a standard quality that you're like, okay, I can eat that, right? So, I'm thinking of, so the votes for camper van, back in the 1980s, let me just ramble on for a second here. Beethoven we're talking about.
Yes.
So I had a friend who actually went to Rhode Island College, and he worked for the radio station. So he actually had the ability to go and interview bands and things like that. So around that time, I was at a yard sale and found this big, huge Sony cassette recorder. and said, "Oh, it was like $5. I picked it up." And he wanted to do an interview with these guys.
Yeah.
So we actually...
Wait in for just a second.
Please.
Hi, Mikhail, and hi, Bobby.
Mikhail.
We're getting a quick trip. Okay.
Career
all right.
gold. Oh.
And Stuckies. I remember Stuckies from when I was a kid. Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, I remember Stuckies from when I was a kid.
Now, didn't we hear recently that like one of
the heirs of
Stuckies
is like trying to redo it.
She bought it out.
Yeah, she bought it out.
So she's actually trying to reboot Stuckies and like make it into a thing again. Because I think a lot of them kind of went by the wayside along the way. But they were very well known for salted nut roll. That's very particular.
Yeah. Eric says, in my teens, there used to be an evening local bingo show, and you go to a stop and go to get your free bingo cards to play along. Okay.
Win the money. Oh, wow.
And Errol says, same thing happened with Dunkin' Donuts in Oklahoma. When they first opened, didn't know if they were passing out $1,000 bills or whatever. Thought, wow, people, it's a donut.
It's a donut.
Exactly.
It's a donut. Well, when we actually had a local...
the Moe's. All right.
Moe's. Okay. We had a local branch of...
Tim Hortons, yep.
What was the donuts that opened up in town?
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme opened up, yes. Krispy Kreme is notorious, well known. It is like your favorite lard lad donut, clearly.
Oh my God.
That thing opens up and the line is like wrapped around the store 3 times. And you're thinking, again, it's a donut and Dunkin' is right over there, guys.
They're trying to make the donuts guy, yes.
Oh, yeah.
As John says, I bought bottle rockets at Stuckies and the payload/rocket was upside down. Much disappointed.
Oh.
Right, finish your story.
Anyway.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but
anyway,
I was getting behind in the comments.
Let's go on with this. So I pick up this like ancient 70s cassette deck, right? And I think this is kind of a cool thing. Still have it somewhere. And my friend is actually like, he said, well, I'm going to do an interview with Camper Van Beethoven. I was like, oh, okay. So I meet him in, I ride up with him to Providence, and they were actually playing at a joint called the Living Room. Right?
Oh, the Living Room.
So we see these guys at about 4 p.m. before the show, and it's 2 guys from the band. I think it was Victor Krumenacker, I think it was one of the guys. So I think it's the bass player and the drummer are talking. And if I recall properly, like in that show, like their singer like crapped out on them, and they went on as instrumental.
Oh
but we didn't actually return for the show, so we just actually interviewed these guys, and here I am with like this ancient thing, and they were amazed at this like huge piece of machinery, and we just like did the whole interview and whatnot, and he put it on the air. So that was my experience with Camper Van, and I'm thinking to myself, why the hell didn't we go back and see the show? That would have been great. They were really good. I like those guys. So.
Oh, Kalaka Boy's asking, did you watch the Golden Globes? We don't have cable, so we didn't, but I've been following closely.
Mm-hmm. To see what
apparently there are some speeches we need to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And Errol says Krispy Kreme is Dunkin' with extra cholesterol.
Yeah, you know, if they fry it properly, it's in lard. Lard lad. Boy.
Oh, okay, hold on. Ben Affleck and J-Lo were all the news. Okay, wait.
Oh, yeah, now we're
They
talking.
were filming it. People were using it was for a Super Bowl commercial. What?
Hello. Medford, Massachusetts. Geez, I spent half my youth next to Medford, as a matter of fact.
Oh, Lisa says my first Krispy Kreme donut was when I moved to Florida in Daytona Beach.
Oh, now you're talking.
My God.
They're good. I know. There's a couple of locations in New York City that you can actually go to Krispy.
The SAG Awards the nominees were announced today, which means I'm going to be getting a bunch of screeners coming up.
It's time for screeners.
The guy was nominated for Elvis, so I will be getting a screener for Elvis. So I'm glad I held out. I'm glad I held out.
Interested to see this.
Yes. Yep.
Look, the thing about the screeners is every single one of these things is a pretty heavyweight picture that's worth your time. Now, the only downside of that is a lot of them are really heavy, and they deal with like people dying and people committing suicide.
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez, for Pete's sake. But some of them are actually comedies, and they're well done. And so I got to say, we've seen, you see a lot of really great pictures just because you have access to these things. So that's cool. And I really have to kind of step it up because you see every one of the movies so that you can vote appropriately. And I managed to miss these just because of my schedule, which is too bad.
Eric's saying the only thing I saw about the Golden Globes was that wonderful Tom Cruise roasting of his Scientology involvement by this comedian. Okay, I've not seen that, but...
Yeah, Mr. Cruise, not happy.
Probably not.
They never are. They never are.
Bobby says, used to be a donut shop in the 60s that had the best cream-filled long johns. Now it's a hospital. Oh.
Oh. Well, you see, they had to establish a hospital on the site of the place that gave everybody arteriosclerosis. So, there you go. You know?
Oh, boy. But I should be getting a screener for... I haven't seen the new Top Gun movie, but they were nominated for Best Stunt Ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Interesting.
I might actually see it. I don't know how to vote for stunt ensembles. I mean, stunt people are SAG members, so rightly they have their own category. But I don't. How do I vote for best stunt double? I don't. I was about to say something off color, but
not on the air.
I know. I'll clean it up. I know nothing about stunts, so...
You know what she's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say, the most I know about stunts is the TV show The Fall Guy. Is that what I know about? No, that's not it. No, I remember hearing a hilarious story from one of your instructors years ago. I believe it was Jack Poggi, who was very likely no longer with us because this was a long time ago. And he was already older.
He was like in his 80s when I studied with him, and that was like 20 years ago.
So if the man has longevity, away we go. But what kind of thing is going? But he told a hilarious story when he did a one-man show about like doing an episode of some TV show where he was playing like a security guard. So he get hired for this thing, and he does this thing, and he gets shot, and then like he's supposed to like pitch over, like he was in like a junkyard, and he's supposed to like tumble over a bunch of cars. So he does his bit. They don't have him do the stunt, right? The stunt guy comes in, and he tells this thing where the stunt guy goes in, and they have him like on a line so they can yank him back, and he just like tumbles backwards, like on his back, like like he's getting completely wrecked. And they complete a take, and the guy just dusts himself off and goes back for another one. Yep. He's like, good God, how the hell do you do that? So one has to hand it to the stunt people. They know what they're doing.
Andrew says the 10-year-old in me loved the new Top Gun. Well, I'm available to watch it, so I better get a screener.
You know, we're going to get it. We'll take a look at it. I remember, you want to talk about vintage? I remember seeing the first Top Gun, circa 1986. I think I saw it around 1987.
I saw it
at a family's house that I knew who had a video disc player. Not those big laser discs.
I know, I saw it in the theater.
The ones that were actually like a vinyl record, the RCA video disc system,
yeah.
Because I knew a family who invested in that, and they kept it up for years until like eventually that all went by the wayside. But I remember seeing this. It was on one of those RCA video discs, which honestly at the time looked fine. There wasn't any real problem with it. I remember the father of that family talking about the movie, and I was like, yeah, this isn't meant to be anything particular. And he had one word. He said, pablum.
No.
But of course, you watched it for the flying sequences. Blah 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 blah.
Well, I remember my aunt saying that. I remember my aunt was a flight attendant.
Yeah.
And I remember her saying about Top Gun that she thought the flying sequences were exhilarating. That was the word she used. Okay. They were exhilarating.
We'll take it from somebody who spent a hell of a lot of time in the air.
Yep.
That they should have been exhilarating. You're not going to watch it for the plot or anything, and not for the dialogue.
I forgot it again.
I forgot about it.
Here it says, he was holding 3 Golden Globes that he said were returned by Tom Cruise. Thought he would offer them for the return of Shelley Miscavige.
Oh!
No!
Man!
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I got to tell you, I don't say such things on the air, but I find them hilarious. When they do happen, yep.
Errol says, Lisa would say I do a lot of stunts. They're almost never planned. Oh, I know that feeling.
Oh, boy. You know? Speaking of whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. The 10-year-old me loved the new Top Gun. I want to see it. I want to see it.
21 times.
Who loved the original Top Gun and saw it 21 times. I saw it in the theater, and then I saw it when I was on tour. I went to see it in the theater in Amsterdam, and it had Dutch subtitles.
That's awesome.
Yep.
You saw it in Dutch.
Well, no, I saw it in English, but it had Dutch subtitles.
Well, you saw it in Dutch too. There you go. That's fantastic.
I don't read Dutch.
I I don't read Dutch, I must say. Neither do I. Although I actually, from time to time, I'm compelled to take a look at a document written in Dutch and actually sort of make some sense out of it, interestingly enough. And I gotta say, it's a language that actually, it reads like with a very particular cadence.
I gotta read Mikhail's comment. This is so good. My grandma worked at a bakery when I was little. She would take me and my gross brother and sister with her to pick up her paycheck. Her coworkers always knew when she would have the grandkids with her and would greet us with freshly fried, still warm donuts. Oh, I love that. That's so sweet. No pun intended. Well,
they are.
I love that.
They are what
I love that.
Well, I grew up with a local donut joint. And it was a joint. It was literally the sort of shack that you were kind of afraid, like if it caught fire, everyone would die. It was very cramped and.
Which one was that?
Alleys.
Oh, I heard about Alleys. I was never in there.
This was in East Greenwich, Rhode Island, and this was a tiny little joint. And I think Allie was related to Johnny, was related to Ryan, who actually they all owned like supermarket chains, except for Allie wanted donuts.
Oh, I remember Ryan's supermarket.
Yeah. This was actually in Wickford, Rhode Island, and it was this tiny little joint. You're like, why the hell is this still in operation? Because they had a really great meat counter. You know, if you want, you would go there for the brisket. You know?
Errol's aunt was a flight attendant for Braniff. I remember Braniff.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. But so Alley's was the kind of joint which probably did fry and lard at the time, and what just had these like great crullers and the ones with the sprinkles and everything. But I always liked the Boston cream.
Oh, yeah.
And I still like the Boston cream. Like that's really my downfall right there. If the arteries harden up a little bit, I think it's because of those damn Boston cream donuts. But this was really cool, and you'd go there, it smelled fantastic, and everything was super fresh. So you gotta love that. I never got a coffee there because I wasn't that age, but I gotta imagine they had fantastic coffee. So.
Oh, okay. Today's bring me up says we had a diner. It was like the joint you speak of. There's always suspicious activity happening in the booth, way in the back. Oh, man. That was like when I lived in Carroll Gardens, which was a mafia neighborhood. At least when I lived there. I don't know if it still is.
I hope so, because, you know, it should actually be, like, totally by the book.
When I first moved to New York, I was like, well, I'm a little worried riding the subway at night. People are like, oh, you live in Carroll Gardens.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's the kind of joint where there's always, like, a car parked on the corner, and there's always a guy in the car, and he's taking care of things.
Yeah.
And, like, if something happened to you, you kind of feel like some guy's going to appear out of nowhere and say, are you all right, miss? And, you know, take care of it. And you kind of like that. Like, that's okay. I happened to live at the time that I met you in what I call the Park Pit. This is like where Park Slope in Brooklyn like levels off before it starts climbing again, becomes Carroll Gardens. And it was in this trough that used to like get flooded all the time when it rained horribly. And this is around 4th Avenue when it was just bad, when it was a place to get beat up. And here I was like walking home at night alone. But usually I was walking in a leather jacket and I looked like I was ready to beat somebody up. So, hey, nobody screwed around with me. It was fine. And we had a really cool apartment. It was actually, it was much better than one might imagine, and the price was right. But you really had to pay for that because, like, your neighborhood was, whoa, you know?
My favorite thing about your apartment was that you had a washer and dryer so I could bring my laundry over and do it.
That was apartment number 2. But yes, yeah, that was that had 3 levels. There was a basement that had a washer dryer. I'm like, why did I ever give up that apartment? Yeah, well, I'm moving with this.
Well, now we have a washer dryer.
Well, now we have a washer dryer.
Aren't we fancy?
Fancy.
We can do laundry at home.
The first apartment had a garden in back, which I remember we used to barbecue back there, and we gardened, which really failed because the soil was terrible. Probably full of lead, so we probably shouldn't have been eating anything. But I also had a friend who like came in from Germany with three young ladies who he was traveling with, and was looking for a place to camp out. And I said, how about my backyard? So they did for a few days. And then they just gallivanted around New York City and whatnot. That was actually really cool, you know. I kind of remember those days fondly. It was kind of fun. It was actually before I knew you.
I know, because I wasn't around for that.
Oh, yeah. So I love that. So anyway, I need to make a thing because we got nothing to make. We also came up with something.
I'm going to have some more bubbles. But you know what? I think I'm going to have a champagne cocktail.
You do that.
Because heart to heart.
You happen to have...
Heart to dummy.
You can't have those.
Oh, okay. I can have the other ones.
You can have the other ones. So.
He's not keeping them from me. I really can't medically have them.
Medically have those things.
I'm going to
You can have one of those.
A bitters-soaked sugar cube.
It looks like it, too.
And I don't need to do anything to it because it's already bitters-soaked.
Bitters-soaked. So this is your classic champagne cocktail without the work. Champagne cocktail.
Not that it's a lot of work to begin with, but...
Grab a flute. Throw in a sugar cube. Suck with bitters. Toss your bubbles on top and just let it dissolve a bit. That is a champagne cocktail.
They saved me one really easy step.
It's a very easy thing. You know, you go to a lot of joints and they'll make a big production number on how to make this cocktail. There's not a lot going on here.
No.
You can do this yourself. Is it brunch?
Ah! Don't overflow.
Uh-oh!
Don't overflow. It's not overflowing. It's not overflowing.
It's like that big foamy head on the beer. So you came up with a great name for a drink earlier today.
I did.
You simply said, you should come up with a drink called Murda. Because when they met, it was murder.
Back to heart, by
there
the way.
We go. So let's do that starting now.
No, wait. I have so lost track of the comments. I'm sorry. We need another drink. Yes, Lisa, coming up.
Well, hello.
Coming up.
Thank you for reminding us, Lisa. We got off track there for a second. Yes.
All right. Yeah, all right. You're just talking amongst yourselves. That's good. That's good.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm not done.
Oh. I'll just keep it hold.
I'm still refilling.
All right. If you could.
Don't want to.
When
yes.
You are done, I'll take the gin.
I can hand you the gin.
I decided to come up with a drink that was clear, and you will see the reason in a moment. Here's another one of these fun 175 bottles that has no handle. Although it does have these sort of depressions on the side of it, so it's okay.
I had to moderate your comment about fat fingering. YouTube has a very dirty mind.
Oh, wow. What? Why do they flag you for that?
Fingering.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, they really have a dirty mind there.
Yeah, YouTube has a dirty mind.
You didn't intend that, and I didn't take it like that. Oh, jeez. These people. You know, you're going to get nailed. You're going to get nailed for something like that. In the meantime, somebody's like flying a KKK flag over there on YouTube, and it's like, well, that's okay. It's like, no, it's not.
But you said fingering, so you're bad.
Yeah, so you're bad. Oh, jeez. I know it's bad. Anyway, back to my formula, please.
Oh. Formula. Murda. So what have you done so far?
I've done the gin.
2 ounces of gin.
Half ounce of maraschino liqueur.
Did you? You did bring.
I did. There are those who will claim that this is pronounced maraschino. Yeah, whatever. I've been saying maraschino for like 50 years. I'm going to keep saying it.
Where I come from, it's maraschino.
Yeah, there you go. Half an ounce. And I have a good half ounce measured right here. That's a lot easier than the rest. This is actually Maraska, which actually is from Croatia. Yes, Croatia. How about that? You'll also find this from Luxardo in a fancy schmancy bottle, and it's also very good. But the Maraska is very good. It's very nice stuff. I need, pardon me,
the lemon.
Half ounce of lemon.
Yes.
I will take that. Thank you. Okay, so here's where we stop and shake, and then we're going to pour. And as a matter of fact, I wonder if, why wonder? I'm going to shake it before. Okay, we need, okay, good. I'm done.
Did you get ice?
I got ice. You can ice the comments.
All right.
And shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your cocktail. Shake your cocktail. Oh, shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your cocktail.
Don't say nailed. Amy says. Oh, Bombay Sapphire is so good.
Oh, Bombay Sapphire.
Yes, Bombay Sapphire.
Back in the day, that was the only gin we kept around. Yep. Because it was in a blue bottle. Now, I had a friend, we still have that friend, who actually, it was his only gin. And then one day he decided to try Bombay regular, and he's like, tastes the same. He decided to save some money. So,
I don't know.
You can do you as such things.
I don't know. I have friends who won't drink anything but the Sapphire.
It's good stuff. I'm thinking of Jess, who actually doesn't drink martinis with any vermouth.
Amy says, don't say nailed. He says everyone's a little too sensitive these days. I know, right?
Yeah.
So I rub some dirt in it. Oh, God.
There is a whole aesthetic that says you
Well,
shouldn't be so afraid of germs or whatnot. And I think, yeah, well, your immune system keeps up better if you have them, but there are certain germs I don't want.
The thing is, it's weird. It's not even like, I get it, but it's, something like fingering, like that could be used for crimes too. Yeah. Like he fingered the suspect.
He fingered the suspect.
Like it's
boom.
The fact that they go to or nailed.
They immediately go to
the absolute worst.
The dirty stuff.
It's like you're the ones with dirty minds, not us.
Anyway. I decided to use the coupe because I'm like that.
You're in trouble for sharing my brand of perversion. See, now I said perversion, they'll shut us down.
Oh, there you go. Perverts. So I used the coupe, which is a little full because there was some ice melt. So I'm going to actually take this down a bit. So far, this is a nice sour with the maraschino. Now, what else do we need to do with this? Let's make murderous with some red. We're going for the Campari, which I think will work just fine with this. About a half an ounce.
Oh, Bombay Bramble is pretty good too. We have not bought that one yet. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I will.
There we go. Boom, boom, boom.
I will pick that up now.
Okay, so here we go. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
So what we do with this is you're going to kind of slip it in. Oh, there we go. Here I am, like
getting shut down.
Getting
for
filthy
sure.
again. Very carefully, kind of pour it over the side.
So can I talk about the Tom Green film, Freddy Got Fingered? No. You can't. They'll shut you down.
So here we have, notice how that kind of formed a little layer on the bottom of there. Blood red. Color me blood red. Now, which, isn't that Dario Argento? Could be wrong. And then we're going to finish off with some cranberry bitters. You notice how the label on this is like already all stained and looks horrible? This stuff always ends up looking like a crime scene. Give me 2 dashes. So now I've got not only
definitely looks like murder now.
A little red layer in the bottom of that, but I got like just some streaks happening because
when they met, it was murder.
It was murder.
Gonna get banned for sure. Oh, no.
Murder is actually quite good. I'm kind of liking it.
I think murder. It's murder, not murder.
Yeah, M-U-R-D-A-H. Murder.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
There you go.
I might have murder tomorrow night.
We can give that a whirl. It's certainly within the family that produces something like an aviation, but no buts. No, it is. There you go. Done.
Oh, Peter says, when I would drive home from my friend's apartment in Clifton, New Jersey in the 1990s, I would stop at a pizzeria. There would be these guys sitting in the back in 3-piece suits and be talking about holy knows what. That's like Carroll Gardens when I lived there.
Peter, you don't want to know. But it wasn't for you to know, and you didn't care.
Herschel Gordon Lewis, Dean says.
Herschel, there we go. Yeah, this definitely has an H.G. Lewis thing going on about
it. One of our engineers got called to HR for talking about temperature indicating, oh no, transmitters in his email. I know where this is going, Errol.
Yeah.
Okay, so
anyway.
We have a thrift store here in town that had a light up sign. They moved locations, so it's a different sign now. But for a long time, the H and R and F were burned out. So it was just tit store.
Tit store.
Yeah.
Which, there's certain places in the country where you could go for that actual product, but that's not what they were selling at the time. We're just saying.
No, they were not. They were not.
Ah, yes. Well, that's also, we of course have a Home Goods in town, and more than once, the ME has been burned out. So you've got
Home Goods.
Well, some people need such things from
everyone needs goods. I'm just.
But that's not
no judgment. But I'm just.
That's not what Home Goods was selling. We're just saying. So.
But Home Goods.
Abbreviations are fun. Acronyms are fun.
Well, burnout signs are fun.
Burnout signs are fun.
We should have. Did we take a picture of Tit's store?
At some point in time, I
I'm
probably
sure
did.
we did. I'm sure that was like 10 years ago.
But I probably have to dig pretty hard to find it. I'm just saying. Acronyms are fun. Backronyms are even more fun. You know, acronyms from the 1700s when nobody did such things. Oh, that's kind of fun.
Like what?
I can't think of anything right now, but I'll come up with it.
But it was fun.
I said it. It was fun.
It was fun.
That's the fun stuff. We're still talking about, oh, yeah. Gin and tonic with the bramble. Ooh, hello. I'm interested.
Maybe this weekend, while you're gone, I'll have a gin and tonic.
Well, G&T, we don't have a lot, although it's one of those things which, if you have one, you're like, this is really good. This is a classic. And there's a good reason for that. I've been reading the book that you
Very
gave.
Rhode Island.
Yeah, it's very New England period, but Rhode Island definitely by the shore. Oh yeah, and most of Rhode Island is in fact by the shore. So.
Oh no. Eric, is that true? It's originally called
Puckman.
Puckman?
Well, who invented Pac-Man? Was that one of the big companies? We'd have to look into that.
That's so weird.
We'd have to look into that. That's hilarious.
Oh no. There was a store in Sperry, Oklahoma called Superflix. The L and I were so close. It was a double look.
You can't do that in Oklahoma. Although we imagine that a fair amount of that is happening in Oklahoma. So, you know, because, hey, it's a cosmopolitan state, ultimately. Let's face facts. Yeah. Hilarious. It just brings me right back to the come and go. Like, you didn't vet that, did you? And here, now it's on every location in Indiana. And in Indiana, people don't really have to imagine too far. They're like, oh, we know what you're talking about. So.
I mean, I don't know.
Bloody hilarious.
Yeah. I just remember seeing the sign on the highway. I was like, really?
Are you kidding me?
Okay.
And then we managed to stop at one, and like and they have a shot glass, and like we're buying the shot glass.
Oh yeah.
So yes, we have that in the
collection.
collection. You have to buy the damn shot glass. I think that was on our way to Chicago when we were shooting an episode at Halakahiki, and along the way, you asked if I could get in touch with our friends and see if we could shoot over at Chef Shangri-La. So we do. And what an epic evening. But also, I take over driving, and I drive for about 5 hours to get to Chi. I get out of the car, and my right foot is absolutely dead. And I'm just limping around me like, I can do this. Ow, ow, ow.
Mikhail says, Bobby, John, and I have made a nightmare of initials. So many wedding gifts that reference BM.
Oh man.
No.
Oh.
I get it.
You know?
I get it.
I mean, seriously. Yeah. Bailey's Namco.
Bally's. Namco.
Oh, Bally's. Okay.
All right, yeah.
Interesting. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Gotta look into this.
That is not my area of expertise.
I remember not only when Pac-Man was only in video arcades, but when it was suddenly available as an Atari cartridge. Oh, wow. I've got Pac-Man. That was a thing.
Lisa says, I still giggle over Come and Go.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's funny. That's why.
That's the only reason you giggle.
Because it's hilarious.
Because it's bloody hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, funny is funny. That's the thing. At the end of the day, if it's funny, it's funny. And if it's off color, well, okay, you know. If it's not victimizing somebody, there you go. That's the kicker. So many of these things that these venues like take offense at, I think, that's just your machinery not being able to figure out the distinction between funny and victimization. And what we like to do here is funny.
What?
I'm talking about you get on like, you know, YouTube will actually ban you because you said
the bots. You're talking about the bots.
Talking to the robots.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
No, you suddenly you went dark for a second into victimization. I'm like, what?
I'm talking about the robots. Of course.
We can dig it.
Yes.
We can dig it.
That's the thing.
Night, Peter.
Hey, good night, sir. So glad to see you. But the robots are insensitive and stupid, and they're a really dull knife. So they just cut through everything, and they're just like, you're cut off. You know, who is it? Our friend Will Vaharo, like, always ends up in Facebook jail because he shows too many boobs. And I think, you know what? What exactly is the problem here? Because You could get on any one of these things and scream your full head off about some stupid bleep BS. And you can just go on forever. But this man actually shows some, mammalian secondary sex characteristics, and he gets put into jail. For Pete's sake. Seriously. But I can't say that because Peter has left the
I
building.
feel like we need to re-rail.
Shall we?
Yes.
Don't mind if I do.
I'm going to crush my sugar cube because I might want another one.
You might want another. This actually gets better as it goes along because it gets bitterer and bitterer and bitterer as you get into the layer.
Is that what's making you bitterer and bitterer and bitterer?
I'm not bitter. I think, well...
Pithy. Say pithy.
I'll say pithy. I'm not bitter. I will be pithy about, and I will be straightforward about these things. Both of these venues we're on are stupid and insensitive. They have no idea what is what. All the robots run everything, and it's dumb. You don't have anybody judging anything, and then you'll get thrown into the pokey.
You're fiery
because what?
Nipples. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Paul went to Skynet.
Yeah. Bye.
He's like, yeah. Anyway.
Well, I didn't say nipples, but Michael did. Thank you.
Mikhail.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I do actually see that's actually spelled Mikhail.
Yes.
Actually, when I was younger, I knew both a Mikhail and a Micah. So we actually knew lots of mics and all that sort of thing.
Makes you wonder what the person who called them boobs called on themselves. I just love, by the way, that
I must go somewhere and figure this out.
We're doing a heart-to-heart happy hour, and we've just degenerated into boobs.
Well, maybe it happens from time to time. From time to time, there are boobs, and it's not a big deal, people. I mean, there is all sorts of negativity happening on these fora these days. We don't deal in those chips, which because we're here for an interesting and an engaging forum.
Amy says, I don't drink bitter drinks because I'm bitter enough.
Interesting enough, we had a conversation about a year and a half ago about such said topic, and I thought, actually, I don't think so. I think that you were very straightforward.
Are you bitter? Yeah, I know. You don't seem bitter to me.
I don't find you bitter. I find you...
Maybe I know really, really bitter people.
Well, actually, we kind of do know very bitter people. I think that you're straightforward and you tell like it is. And, some people have a real problem with that, which means that they have a problem with you. And I think, well, that's their problem. Amy's just Amy. She's going to tell you how it is. And that's straight.
Errol, I have a funny story to tell in response to your comment. Errol says, my daughter drew a poor rendition of her mom's couch. She wrote in it, my mom's cooch. My daughter laughed and said, your artwork is okay, but we need to work on your spelling.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, that reminds me of, we have a friend who...
I was going to tell that story, but I'll let you tell it.
Mother was from Brazil, and she spoke with a pretty heavily Portuguese accent. And she was, at one point, she was talking to some people on the beach who had all of this fresh fruit, and she was going on at length about all the fresh fruit that she could get in her conch. In my conch, we have all of these fresh fruit, and she kept pronouncing it conch. And they were kind of getting freaked out about that. And I think,
it was a family with little kids, and they misheard what she was saying.
At the end of the day, I'm thinking, she's talking about Brazil, where you have this fantastically crazy fresh tropical fruit. And you go to the beach, and you just get this, acai bowl, which is whoa, that's so cool. That's what she was talking about. She was not talking about her,
Gettysburg Ma'am says, I'm the opposite. I don't drink sweet drinks because, I am sweet enough. I'm kind of with you.
Mm-hmm.
I like a bitter drink.
I am sweet enough. So, there we go.
I agree. Bobby says, couldn't see a thing when I was breastfeeding. Play my mom.
Sorry, I'm blinded.
I want to do a live happy hour.
There we go.
I realize this is live. You know what I mean? With people here.
So Amy's quoting Pat Benatar. I'm thinking of the Mamas and the Papas with a great song called Straight Shooter, which you would appreciate if you don't know it. So you should look that up. But Pat, oh wow. I just saw some reference to her recently and thought, oh yeah. Yeah, and I was looking at the lineup of her hits from the 80s, and I was like, that went on and on. So...
Even more technically, you sit in both. Oh, okay, all right. I can't be quoting this, but I'm enjoying your conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious.
So I'm
still trying to not get.
I'm diluting the murda with bubbles, and it's working just fine. Thank you.
Well, that's what they do in Heart to W all the time. They dilute the murda with bubbles.
They just pour the bubbles,
that's
and away
kind
we
of
go.
the whole thrust of the show. I said thrust. Oh, boobs. Yeah. Good night, Andrew. But yeah, I was going to bring up boobs.
You know, a hell of a lot of
good night
is caused on all of these fora by boobs. And at the end of the day, what's the big deal, folks? Just saying. Even here.
My father told me this story about this kid who asked his mom, "What is fornication?" And she was stunned and said, "Where did you hear that?"
When I was a kid, we didn't use that term.
No.
And my punk friends from across the street actually told me at one point to ask my mother what a certain word meant. And I did, being about 6 years old. And she took exception to that. And, they just laughed and laughed. Today, I would like to find those guys and punch them in the jaw because, for Pete's sake, you victimized a 6-year-old kid.
Well, I believe we're Facebook friends with him, so...
Mm-hmm. That means I could find him and punch him in the jaw. Ugh.
Hilarious.
Tiny balls.
I'm just trying to picture your mom in that situation.
My mother was not plussed by anything. Anything. She would have taken anything because she was a nurse and she had actually...
She was a nurse in like the worst sections of New York City, so...
True.
She'd seen it all.
True.
But when her son came home and asked about the F word...
Yeah. It wasn't actually the F word. It was a variation. And
okay.
She did take some exception to that. And... I'll go on private conversation with you all about that later to understand what that was all about, to tell you the truth. But the fact is, she saw people live and die on the operating table. None of this would have fazed her. The funny thing is that the kids who actually fed that line to me, their mother would have been fazed by all of this. But she was extremely high-strung. And at the end of the day, needed medication. Never got it.
Yes, about fudge.
That's unfascinating.
Only I didn't say fudge.
Didn't say fudge.
Oh, geez. Bobby says, I was at the grocery store the other day in the meat department. Lady asked me if I knew where the breasts are. I couldn't hurt her feelings. I remember one time that I was searching. This was a long time ago, but I found a recipe for chicken breasts.
Well, where you can find breasts, you know?
This was like 20 years ago, but we didn't have a printer. So I sent it to Paul and asked him to print it out at work, and he couldn't print it out because it got flagged. Like, really, chicken breasts?
There are other things that got flagged at work that I think you really need to revise your filter because this is insensitive and stupid. But for Pete's sake, boobs are just boobs. But chicken breasts are just a portion of the chicken. You slaughter the animal, you should at least be able to talk about it. For Pete's sake, people. It's what it is. At the end of the day, I don't really care for chicken breasts. They're bland and tasteless. We generally tend to get thighs, which are cheaper and work just great. If we're dealing with the chicken. And I gotta say, if you're gonna cook a chicken, cook the whole chicken.
Got some opinions this evening.
I have 2 count them opinions. Not a big deal.
Right. I assume you want this.
Oh, I'll take
That's
that.
why
yes.
you put that over here.
That's why I put that over there.
Okay.
Yes. And in terms of Fudge, that's a hilarious little bit from Gene Shepard, whom you could actually listen to a hell of a lot of online these days. And
yeah, I didn't say fudge.
He was freaking hilarious. Good friends with Shel Silverstein, who was freaking hilarious. And you can actually find a lot of stuff from him. You can probably find this not that difficult to find. He used to write a lot of articles for Playboy magazine. And, really great stuff. Just about his youth in Indiana. Home in Indiana doesn't exist. He made that up. So if you're looking for that, because you're a fan of A Christmas Story, don't. But
Night, Gettysburg, ma'am. Thank you. So these earrings were made by Gettysburg, ma'am.
we're just saying.
I got closed. All right.
Hello.
Yay.
Chin chin.
I think I'm going to be spending the day under the covers tomorrow, nursing my sore throat. But
You're undercovers detectives? Oh.
but I will be watching Heart to Dummy.
Heart.
Heart to Heart.
We have some fun bitters over there, don't we?
We have new bitters that we haven't even opened yet.
Which?
The Hella chocolate.
I'm not ready for those tonight.
How about cranberry?
I'll take cran.
I'll take some cran too.
But I actually put a little bit of the lemon zest in there,
Oh.
and it smells awesome. And I'm going to put a dash or two of the cranberry
I'll take some of
bitters,
that too.
and it smells awesome.
So if you in the chicken parts, okay, all right, you got some votes for the thigh.
There was a thing, I read something at some point that said that, chicken breasts have a lot of currency in this country because of all the damn places serving chicken sandwiches.
Ugh.
And it's all about this big bland chunk of generic protein. And I think you slaughtered an animal just so you can serve generic chicken protein in your damn chicken sandwich.
Laura, I tried to
Jeez.
get him to open the Hella chocolate. Maybe next week.
We'll do it.
They were his gift.
But because you have to actually slaughter all those chickens, you end up with a lot of chicken thighs, which is a much larger chunk of chicken. And you have all that dark meat. And I think that somebody named Linda Patterson could get behind that because she prefers. And it's true.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of the lemon zest, thank you, Errol.
Yes. I got one. Yes. But you need
I'm going to
Yes.
do it.
Yeah.
I did not trim these lemons for the hell of it.
Seriously. The fact is, if you're going to actually squeeze the lemons, you want to actually get some strips out of there and trim them properly.
It smells
and you
good.
just give it a zip over there. And it's just like having some bitters. Because the lemon oil is very flavorful.
Oh, Eric, I hope I don't have it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez. I don't know. You've managed to contract this a couple of times within this period. And
Mikhail says, I wish
We'll
I
see
could
what
be
it is.
under the covers tomorrow, but instead I'll be trying to avoid oversensitive millennials. I hope I'm fine. I felt fine this morning.
I feel you. I do
fine
not
this morning.
have to deal with oversensitive millennials in my line of work, but I'm sure we have them around me.
Dark
because we
meat
have a lot of young
rocks. You
people.
got a dark meat rocks. Okay. All right.
There you go. Yep.
Oh, sleep with
knows.
my friend.
Chicken thighs.
I have a lot of groceries. I'm and a lot of tea. I hope this is just an anomaly.
Maybe you just picked up.
I don't know what happened, but suddenly I just started feeling sicker and sicker. I'm like, oh. I might have to be under the covers watching TV.
The
all
fact
day.
is, a hell of a lot of dust will make you feel awful.
Ugh.
And it's just your body reacting to allergens.
Gosh.
Big deal. So.
All right, I got to read this.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby says, was talking to my mom's friend who just turned 100. She said someone told her that her dress was blowing up and you could see her private parts. Lady, you should hold your dress, not your hat. Oh, she said that shit is 100 years old. This hat is brand new. Oh man.
Excuse me, if you want to check out the
Oh.
private parts, that's up to you, my
Lisa
friend.
says, I used to watch Don Ho with my mom in the late 70s.
Oh, wow.
I wonder if YouTube will have his shows from back then. Oh,
Should?
I feel like, you know what? I think maybe I
Should.
was at the Museum of Television and Radio, but I did see some. So they're there. They are available. So
Oh, yeah.
hopefully,
Don
Yeah.
was an American treasure at the time. He was this sort of combination of like Elvis and Dean Martin. And just came out and was just like, hey, here we go. And it was just with Mai Tais. It was awesome. Like, Don was just fantastic. And you listen to his records and you're like, yeah, he's fun. He's a lot of fun. I mean, I think people talk about seeing the Don Ho show and he's like, he was totally loaded. He's like, good.
I don't think he was loaded.
He probably was at the time.
You think?
And that's
I
okay.
think he was just chill.
He was certainly chill.
I think he was just chill.
But definitely.
And hello, Eric. Good
Hey!
to see you.
Fantastic to see you, sir. Absolutely.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah. Like, if you have a sensitivity to any one of these particular things, you're going to be in hell. And wheat is a fairly common sensitivity, which is a real drag. Oat is a terrible sensitivity because if you're sensitive to wheat, all of the manufacturers say, try oat stuff. And if you're sensitive to oat, I don't know what you do. That's a real problem. That's kind of like our friend Amy, who has chimed in tonight, potentially still here, who is sensitive to soy stuff and like, soy's in everything. It's like, she has a lot of a problem. And I really sympathize because that's a drag. The manufacturers use soy in everything because it's cheap. Well, if soy is not your problem, fine. But if it is, then it's cheap. It's cheap and it's
I can't millennial
improperly applied.
I just can't. Oh.
And as Amy says every time, soy is evil. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We eat a certain amount of soy products around here. It does not bother us, but if it bothers you, it is a real problem.
Exactly.
And it's kind of like...
No soy and alcohol. Well,
yeah.
Cheers to that.
You cannot make soy into alcohol as far as I know. Well, yet. Good. But I'm thinking...
Exactly. Oh, Eric's wife is allergic to pineapple. We have a friend who's allergic to pineapple too. So yeah.
We have 2 or 3 friends.
That's rough in tropical drinks, by the way.
It's really rough.
Yeah.
It's too bad because pineapple is fun stuff. It's actually very low in calories.
It's growing all around my area, Laura says. Oh boy. Oh. Man.
It's tough. It's tough what you're allergic to.
Yes.
Which is an increasing number of things these days. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez. Sachi is the world's first soy alcoholic beverage. What? Oh, no, Amy.
We have a problem here.
Oh.
We got a problem here.
Ugh.
Yeah. I am not on record as saying soy is evil, but I know people who say soy is evil, and I sympathize because it's a pain in the ass. Jeez, you go to a place and it's like, soy's in everything.
You can't have soy.
Why is soy in everything?
It's in everything. Yeah.
Why is soy in everything? It doesn't need to be. Soy is not in butter. I mean, why? But it's in your margarine. Ugh.
Yeah, I feel like soybeans are okay until you can't have them.
And then you have a real freaking problem.
Yeah,
and the real problem is that soybeans are cheap.
Tastes great on fried rice. All right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're glad that soybeans do not bother everybody because if they did,
because they're in everything,
we would all be in trouble. But my friends who they bother, I think, stay away from this stuff.
Errol says, I've had friends that are allergic to watermelon and cantaloupe due to the high potassium content. Okay. Oh, wow. Interesting.
Kind of crazy.
Oh, corn is in everything too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Corn is extremely cheap to produce and it's very productive.
Yeah.
And some people have a real problem with corn.
Yep.
My ancestors called it maize. Yes. Well, it's everywhere. Everywhere.
That was from Square Pegs.
And corn oil is extremely cheap. And corn oil is not bad to me, which is good. For me, if there's a problem with you, well, we need to keep looking.
Man, is it that time?
It is approximately that time.
Oh, boy. Well, as always.
It's a fun couple of hours with you on a Wednesday night.
As always, we start talking about one thing and end up on something else. But we just call that Wednesday.
Well, it's just life in the big city. Or
this
the small
was super
city.
Fun.
Or the tiny town.
This was so fun.
It's fantastic to spend a couple hours with you on a
Yes.
Wednesday. Here we are. Some of you may be tuning in from the West Coast, from the East Coast, or from the East Coast of Australia. Whoa, that's tomorrow already. Hello. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
And fun stuff happens always because we start on one topic and we go.
Oh, Lisa's saying no.
Go.
Oh, okay, well. Are we out of bubbles? Ah! Top me up, Buttercup.
No, we are not out of bubbles.
Top me up, Buttercup. We can probably get a couple more minutes out of this.
I got one more drink out of this thing, which is that. And
all right, we're probably logging off anyway.
We can keep going for a minute because I do not want to disappoint anybody.
Mm-mm.
And the simple fact is...
It's the kind of thing that wakes me up in the middle of the night. Although I started it, so... we're logging off.
The simple fact is, I'm not dead yet, so we're going to keep going. Here we go, folks. If you need to leave, thank you so much for joining in.
Oh, they shot Richard Simmons versus Slim Goodbody. Oh, no.
Oh! Jeez. Yeah, that's actually a different concept,
I would do a Richard Simmons if I thought he would appear.
Well...
Don't put me on the card. I know. It's time to go. It is. All right.
Well, it's close.
Thank you for joining us.
The simple fact is, it has been fantastic to share a more or less 2 hours with you. Actually, we tuned in about 5 minutes early, so this is 2 hours right now.
I know.
Oh.
So I'm just so grateful this worked because I have to go figure out our new system.
Yeah.
So that next week we don't go through the drama we went through this week.
Our conduit has changed because that's what happens with these large systems. It's like the two platforms with which we are broadcasting right now like to change things all the time to screw us up.
Lisa says we should have a song to sing when it's time to go. You are correct. Oh, I'll get on that.
I'm so glad we had this time together.
That's Carol's song.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We need our own song.
I'm not going to appropriate Carol's song. Yeah. But she did that because when she first went live, her grandmother was asking, how do I know you're live? And she would touch the earlobe. I love that.
Sweet.
That's just fantastic. An indicator. So the simple fact is, we're so grateful you could be with us for a couple hours on a Wednesday. We're here talking about a variety of topics, some of them pretty crazy, some of them pretty pedestrian. And we are never talking about those evil things out there because you know what they are. That's not our show. We're here for fun. It's for good stuff. We are supported by our patrons. Thank you very much.
Yes.
We're also supported by people who go to Amazon, to our store, and actually shop after that. You don't have to buy anything from our store. Just start at our store. That helps. That's the big thing. Where are our towels? I don't see our towels.
Oh, they're down there.
Yep. We're supported by product. Several people have been able to buy our towels recently. We have two big colors. They're available. We have the fantastic teal and the fantastic...
Terrific teal and marvelous magenta.
Marvelous magenta. Fantastic stuff. These are our standard black towel in different colors. They're fantastic. They are the print is actually on polyester, I believe, but the backside is cotton. So they're actually absorbent. Wow.
The backside's cotton.
Backside Dallas. This is great stuff. I actually stand by these towels. They're really cool.
Oh,
So,
Amy, yes, please, thank you.
Oh,
Amy
yeah.
says, I have something for you to put in your store for me to buy. I would love to.
If you would.
Thank you.
I really thank you. So, if you would buy some towels, that's fantastic. We still have records. We have a Christmas record, which is past, but hey, anytime's
next
good.
Year.
Yep, there's always next year. And
I think that's it.
that's probably it for now. If you'd like to support the show, there are all those conduits. If you actually don't know any of those conduits, send me a message and we'll figure it out. Because we thank you so much for appearing here. That's why we do this. And as always, no matter where you are,
closer.
no matter where you are, and no matter what you do, you're not in harm because we will see you soon.
Good night.